Many of you have been aware and likely supported Maryland's efforts to address two of the worst bad actor pesticides in our state. If you haven't been following these issues lately, this update will address some recent details. Next. First, Maryland's Chlorpyrifos ban. The organophosphate chlorpyrifos was found to be highly toxic to children's developing brains and neurological systems. Exposure is clearly linked to brain damage, learning disabilities, neurodevelopmental problems, ADD, ADHD, asthma, and pediatric cancer. Many states are working in state legislatures to provide backstop protection after the current administration's overturning of a national chlorpyrifos ban. The decision to ban nationally was the result of an 18-year EPA risk assessment. After a 3-year effort, Marylanders won passage of the chlorpyrifos ban this year. The bill passed in the final hours of the early adjourned session due to the pandemic, and it was one of the few environmental bills passed. Unfortunately, the governor vetoed SB 300 along with an unusually large slate of vetoes this summer. Next. Regulation or legislation, what's the difference? Anything short of legislation does not have the power of law behind it, including regulations and executive orders. Regulations can be easily changed. They provide the public no legal protection or recourse as a law would. Our legislators understood the difference and passed SB 300. Next. We're starting to see a concerning trend with the pesticide industry promoting regulations and executive orders when it looks like legislation is gaining momentum to pass. This is what transpired in California and New York on chlorpyrifos bans, and we're starting to see more of such efforts, even in local Maryland jurisdictions. Maryland's babies, bees, and all life in the Bay watershed needs certain protection from chlorpyrifos. A large and growing number of Marylanders, organizations, and businesses are calling for an override of the governor's veto when the 2021 session resumes in January. Next. Now on to our bees, birds, butterflies, and even aquatic life. Pollinators took a huge hit when neonics were added to consumer garden products, turning the paradise of residential flowering trees, shrubs, and yards into killing fields. Thanks to strong citizen support and legislative champions who understood the importance healthy pollinator populations are to Maryland's food supply, the Maryland General Assembly passed nationally groundbreaking protections for pollinators. The 2016 Pollinator Protection Act restricted the sale and use of a class of insecticides, neonicotinoids, or neonics for short, in consumer home garden products, opening the door for other states to follow suit, and they are. A great win, right? Next. In 2018, the law went into effect and beekeepers began to notice and report these products were still stocked on some store shelves. So Smart on Pesticides Coalition, who worked for passage of this bill, started a volunteer effort, the Pollinator Protection Squad, to help Maryland Department of Agriculture identify where stores were not in compliance with the law. Next. We've discovered this year that a loophole in the wording of the law is allowing certain retailers who also hold restricted use pesticide licenses, RUPPS, which allows them to sell restricted use pesticides to certified applicators, is being interpreted that they can also sell these consumer products to the unsuspecting public, even though the public is not allowed to buy or use these products. The coalition is still assessing this problem.